looks like I am live. Let me see if the audio is any good. And we can go from there. So let's see. Is the audio good? How about now? Let's see. Okay, well, I hope that that's good. And I'm going to close over here. Okay. So feel free to say hi in the comment section or in the live chat. Now, hello everyone. I am Lunanoid, or Loon for short. So let's see what we're going to be doing today. So in 1968, Apollo 8 became the first. Let's see. Yeah, in 1968, Apollo 8 became the first crewed spaceflight to orbit the moon. This is very similar, actually, to the Artemis Phase 2 that is planned for next year. So Artemis 1, in case you're wondering, was the one which just had all of the equipment orbit the moon once. Now Artemis 2 will have not just the equipment, but also some astronauts on board. They will simply not touch down or they will simply not land on the moon. And Apollo 8 was basically the first, was the Apollo program's version of that flight. So during the orbit, the astronaut William Anders pointed his camera to Earth and shot this gorgeous photograph over here. And I hope that these are all readable. And then the astronauts quickly scrambled to find some color film and put in the color film cartridge into that camera, and also snapped these two photos over here. So this will be the Apollo. Oh yeah, so it says Apollo 8. So it's a different cartridge, and this is the first of the color photos. This is the second of the color photos. And then these color photos were the ones that became very popular in various publications, including, so I think, just a second. Okay. Let's see. So it looks like OBS isn't working again. Okay. Okay, let's see. Can I find this? So that will be Chrome. Okay, that's good. Okay. Let's see if I can get it back to display capture. So there we are. So once again, this was the first photo they took. And then they scrambled around for... Okay, let me just restart then this talk over here. So once again, hello everyone, I am Luninoid, or Loon for short. So in 1968, Apollo 8 became the first crewed space flight. Let's start again. And in case you're wondering, I'm just trying to get a nice intro for a cut version of everything we're doing here. So hello everyone, I am Luninoid, or Loon for short. So as for what we are going to be doing today, or hello everyone, I am Luninoid, or Loon for short. I'll just be doing these streams where I'll be designing or developing something. And as for what we're doing today, in 1968, Apollo 8 became the first crewed spaceflight to orbit the moon. So this is similar to the Artemis 2 flight that's scheduled for next year. So Artemis Phase 2. This is the flight. This is the first crewed flight, so the one with actual astronauts on board. Artemis 1 was the one where they just had the equipment orbit the moon and come back. Artemis 2 is where they will have a crew orbit the moon and come back, but not actually land on the moon. And then you can see here the plans where Artemis 3 will actually have the crew on board. So now during the orbit, Apollo 8 was the equivalent of Artemis 2 for the Apollo program, you can say, or Artemis 2 is the equivalent of Apollo 8 for the Artemis program. That's probably a better way of putting it. So during this orbit, astronaut William Anders pointed his camera to the Earth and shot this gorgeous photograph over here. Let me just bring that up, and let me see if OBS is seeing that. Good. So he shot this. The thing is, it was in black and white film. So the crew then scrambled around and found a color film cartridge and put that into the camera and took this photograph and this one over here. So I believe this is the one that is popularized on like postage stamps, and it became a cover for it became a magazine cover and other things. So here we have a postage stamp, Apollo 8. And then others, and really a lot of the reason why I personally like this photograph is just because of the significance of it, and people at the time especially can feel it, because so the photograph was taken on Christmas Eve of 1968. And just for a little bit of context of what happened that year, we have the assassination of MLK, of RFK, so of MLK, of RFK, and so 2 civil rights leaders. So we have the assassinations of MLK and RFK. And then some other unfortunate events. Okay, so this happened in the context of the assassinations of MLK, RFK, and relevant to the United States. Also, the Vietnam War was going on, and that was the year of the My Lai massacre and of the Tet Offensive. So, a lot was going on. You can read the rest of it. There's an entire Wikipedia page dedicated to that year, as there is for a lot of other years. So in that context, Apollo 8 was launched, and so it orbited the Earth once. Sorry, orbited the moon once, and came back. And so on the return orbit, the astronauts took the photo and landed on the Earth on Christmas Day, around Christmas Day of that same year. So here is an early morning reception on the USS Yorktown, which picked them up in the middle of the ocean. And if you want to read more about it in this publication over here, this is Apollo Expeditions to the Moon from NASA Technical Reports. It's fully open to the public. And as for what I will actually be doing here, so I personally really like the composition of this photograph, especially if, and I don't know if it's worth doing this, but if we straighten it out a bit and have the horizon be flat. But unfortunately it is black and white, so I was thinking of taking the color information from these two and adding it to this photograph over here. So last stream, what we did was, let's see if I can open that. Last stream, what I did was in Affinity Photo. I superimposed the Earth onto a color copy of the Earth from one of the photos onto this black and white image. One thing I will try to do is maybe superimpose a black and white copy of the Earth. Superimpose another copy from another image, or from the other image, and see if I can figure out what I want the colors to look like, because if I want to get the colors to be more or less accurate, I would have to have it is ultimately more of a creative decision than an absolute decision, because even if I were to take a look at the properties of the film stock, which is, from what I remember, a custom film stock that was made for the Apollo missions, so it's not like I actually know that much about its properties. I don't know about the properties of light in orbit looking through the glass of the um, of the lunar orbiter. So let's try this. So if I remember correctly, what I can do is I can add the image in here. So yeah, so in Affinity Photo last time, I just added in the picture and aligned it. So here is that original. And by the look of things, that did not help. So let's see if I can do this. Okay. So what I will want to do is rasterize, I think. Oh, okay, that's what's going on here. So let's try to import this one more time. And while it's importing, I will point out that, by the way, let me see if there's anything in chat while it's importing. I will point out that there will probably be a separate color grade for the moon and for the Earth. Okay, looks like it's still importing. Don't know if that's a good thing because it imported a lot more quickly last time. And yeah. Okay, so it looks like it's having trouble importing. So I'm either... Okay, good. Okay, that looks like a mess. And what that looks like is maybe I should restart Affinity. So don't save. So once again, doing this in Affinity Photo. So opening the project as it was last time in here, dropping in the picture, and what I can do now is rasterize it. So that I can now manipulate it more easily. At least I should be able to. Okay, good. And so what I will want to do with this is select the Earth. Let's see if I remember the shortcut correctly from last time. Yeah. So it's Command and then let's see. Okay. Let me just test something. Okay. So the sound is still working. That's good. Okay, right, not Alt. That. Let's try a few more times. If this doesn't work, then I'll just use whatever closest approximation works. So, okay, can I copy and paste this layer here? Edit. Okay, looks like I'll just have to copy and then wait for it to process. And from the look of things, OBS stopped reacting once again. Paste. Okay, good. So I'm going to hide that. Let me just quickly update OBS properties. Okay. So with any hope, it's the same size. Let's just rename the layers so that it's clear what's going on here. And while I still remember that, and okay. So reducing the opacity a bit. And hiding that one. Let's just quickly zoom in. And do I have this? Yes, I do. So this one looks like it might even be a different size to the Earth that's over here. So we see that it looks like it's rotating counterclockwise when I turn it on. So let's rotate that clockwise a bit. maybe even a little bit more. Okay, pull a little back. So it seems to be going down, so might as well move it a bit up while we are here. And let's just take a look here. So looks like it's stretching a bit. If I just rotate it a bit, and then if I just increase the size a little bit. Okay, looks like it might be a good idea to decrease the size now. So one thing I can do now is maybe rotate it a little bit back like that and make it a little bit bigger. Whoa, not that much. And see if I can align it a bit better. So I got really lucky last time. Okay, looks like it's still warping a little. So from the breathing, it looks like it's becoming a bit smaller. So let's make this a bit bigger then. And it looks like it is moving upwards. So let's see if I can align this a bit better. So the goal is that when I start so the goal is so that when I actually start playing around with the opacity, it just becomes colorized and doesn't actually seem to move, which it is now. So it's moving up and to the right. So let's see if that helps. So once again, let's try moving it down. 2 down, 2 left. It feels like it's moving down here. That feels like I'm just adding color to the image. So that seems good. And let's just see. Okay, that looks about right. So I have one Earth. Let's bump the opacity on that to 100% now. And then I have another Earth. With a slightly lower exposure. Okay, let's see. Feel free, by the way, to say hi in the chat if you want to. No pressure though. Okay, so now that we have aligned these two pictures, now we need to sort of figure out what we would do for, or what we actually want for the colors here, right? Because as I said, the color grade is going to have to come from somewhere. So one thing I didn't mention in my discussion earlier about the different, well, what's going on? Okay, did that throw off OBS? I need to actually know now. Looks like it did. So let's try one more time to reset that. Cool. And so, okay. So we have one of the Earths. We have here another of the Earths that we aligned. And it looks like OBS had already failed before. Before that. So here we have this picture, and now to figure out the color grade. And it's probably a good idea to actually take a look at the photo that I imported here. And one thing that I'll maybe try to do, well, not maybe, that I will try to do right now is to rotate it 90 degrees. So that's what the range. Rotate clockwise. If that'll work. Okay, good. It did work. So there's one of the pictures, and then let's take a look at the other. Color picture. Okay, hello. So let's see. Is this working? Okay, good. So I am so sorry about that. My computer crashed. Let's see if I can get Affinity Photo to restore what I had. If not, I'll just have to redo everything I just did. So is there an auto-saved version of that anywhere? Okay. Looks like that's a no. And yeah, let's go ahead and just reopen Earthrise here. So yeah, let's just rename these to color source 1. And color source 1 Earth. While we're here, might as well just rotate this guy. Oh, so I can actually do that. Oh no, that's not what I meant to do. Rotate left. So I'm going to take this guy over here. I'm going to select him. I'm going to arrange, rotate clockwise to get the moon to be on the bottom. And I'm going to wait for this to load. There it is. So there is the first Earth. And the second one that we didn't save is going to be from this photo over here, which is the second photo that I downloaded. Let's see. So if I just toss this in here, and I'm just going to try to talk here while that's trying to load. So if you want to say hi, great opportunity to. But yeah. So, okay, looks like it imported. I really need to figure out what to talk about while the computer is buffering. So let's see if I can go ahead and rasterize this, and actually while I'm here check if OBS is still working. No, it is not. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, okay, good, it's rasterized. So let's go ahead and copy the Earth from this. Elliptical tool. Right, not Alt. So using Control, we can, instead of doing an ellipse, make a, so an ellipse like that, make a circle. And that's not it. That is definitely not it. So once again, try to make this pretty good. So somewhere here. Okay, let's do maybe a few more tries and then just go for the closest one. Yeah, you know what, that's close enough. So copy and paste. Okay, why does it not want to copy? Pretty sure it's rasterized, right? Okay, copy. Oh, it's not selected for some reason. Okay, I'm going to just save this for now. Yeah. And while I'm here, might as well check out the chat. Okay, nothing to talk about here. So here. Okay, from the look of things, it's now selected. So if I do edit, good, copy. And paste. So once again, it is freezing. I don't know if I should try to update OBS right now. You know what? I'm going to. So properties, flip that over to that, and then back to that. Okay. Okay, good. So we have that. We have a different Earth. And let's actually go ahead while we're here, take this guy, select him, arrange, and rotate clockwise to once again get the moon on the bottom. So let's wait for that to happen. And as soon as that happens, I'm probably going to want to save this so that if my computer crashes again, or crashes out like it's doing now, So let's just go ahead and save this for now. Okay, looks like I'm out of space. So this guy's probably pretty big. Let's see if I can actually delete something here. And then save this. Okay, good, it's saved. So now let's see if I can restart Affinity. And while I'm here, let's also see if I can update OBS again. Okay, good. I just need to click Restart Capture. That's a better option. That's good. So back to this. Okay, looks like the photo didn't survive. So let's just go ahead and delete that and just re-import it, or should I bother? Yeah, I should probably. So copy, paste, and let's once again import this guy over here. And rasterize. Take up all that space. And then, oh, got flipped over to that. Rotate, arrange, rotate 90 clockwise. So one other thing I can do maybe, although it looks like this is fine, is, so let's go ahead and, well, first of all, rename this to color source 2. Save this. And so one thing I actually might do to save up on memory while I'm working here, and just to save some space on my computer, is to go ahead and just name these by the IDs that are in the pictures. So this is color source 2 basically. So what I can do is I can just name it this. And then I actually don't need this one because I can just look up the ID of the picture, and similarly I can grab this, rename it to that, and delete that. So let's rename that to original. And let's grab our earth and try to align it once again. So opacity down. Excellent. Rotate. Let's zoom in. So from what I remember, both the scale and the rotation had to be changed. So let's go ahead and do that. So try to at least align it on rotation more or less right now. Okay, and how does it look? Sorry. So it looks, when I flip over, that it is rotating clockwise. So let's go ahead and rotate it anti-clockwise a bit. So now it's rotating clockwise still. So let's a little bit more counterclockwise. So let's adjust that back a bit. And what I think I'm seeing here, sorry about that. What I think I'm seeing here is a bit of a scale issue. Let's see how OBS is doing while we're here. Not great. Okay, let's restart the capture. Yeah. So yeah, I still have no idea how to fix that in OBS, but here we are. So from the look of things, there is a slight rotation in some direction. But there's also motion away. So this looks a bit smaller than this. So let's go ahead and make it a bit bigger then. Just a little bit. And maybe adjust the rotation a bit more. Okay, what's going on here? So once again, the goal is just to get this to look like I'm adding color to the picture and not moving it around. So adjust the rotation a little bit. A little bit back. Okay, now it feels like it's getting bigger, so how did that not work? So it looks like this corner over here is not moving all that much, but then feels like it's drooping away in this direction. And now it clearly got smaller. So maybe it's a good idea to leave well enough alone. And from the look of things, when I am moving the slider, I do feel like I am just adding color to this. Even if I feel like there is a bit of motion, but it's this weird warping. So let's just take a look at this one over here. Maybe that one will help me to sort of... Yeah, this one also has a bit of a warping motion, but... Okay, and now that I have this, let's go ahead and save that. Okay, that is not showing up in OBS. So, bring both of these back. And I don't know if it's just me or it feels like maybe I need to move this one up a bit. Okay, that makes more sense. Then how about this one? Okay, I am really sorry if this is triggering anything for anyone. Should probably add a warning. So I'm looking at this continent over here, and I'm seeing how it's moving down a bit, I think. But it really feels like it's changing shape. Okay, those look good enough. So now, let's see, how's the timing on this? Okay, OBS is once again acting up. Okay. So for timing, that is that. So let's go ahead and save these. And then, I mean, I've incorporated, so in short, let's just briefly remember what we did here. So I've incorporated this other picture of the Earth that I found, of the Earthrise that I found. I actually didn't know originally that there were actually two color images besides the black and white one. And then, so there's this black and white one. And what we'll try to do is go ahead and incorporate the color, or is go ahead and incorporate the colors from the color photos into the black and white one, and get this and basically pick a color for the moon, because I haven't been there, and I'm guessing most of you haven't either. And because I haven't seen the moon from the moon, I don't really know what color to use for this, and also, for that matter, for the Earth. So with that, that is what we, so once again, today we just added this other color image of Earth and aligned it to this photo. And hopefully by next time we will be able to actually look at color grading these pictures and transferring the chroma from these two over to the luma of the black and white. Or so we're probably going to try to keep the luma of the black and white picture. So once again, just from last time, one of the really nice things here is that the Earth is fairly scratch free and dust free, but there's still a lot of dust over here around the Earth. So I don't know what we'll do about that, but yep. So that is session 2. Unfortunately, once again, problems with the stream. I even had my computer crash and whatnot. But yeah, I will see you guys hopefully next week. If you guys want to suggest a particular date or time for the next stream, feel free to drop that into the VOD comments if you're watching on the VOD. And yeah, have a good day or good night. So save that and stop the live and stream.